Sector 4 looks like a perfectly manicured suburban dream, but a towering, bruised purple wall marks the boundary of a permanent, unnatural storm. This is the edge of a quarantined reality. On a yellow school bus heading toward that boundary, we meet Amara Vargas. She's quiet and analytical, noticing the atmosphere feels wrong. Next to her sits her best friend, Rupert. He wears meticulous designer layers to hide a heavy tote bag loaded with survival gear. He is a survivalist masquerading as a student. Teenagers are vanishing into the woods, yet the student body reacts with extreme digital apathy. Kids gnome TikTok dances in the aisles and trade trauma-dumping stories about the missing as if they were weekend plans, using social media trends to distance themselves from the danger. In a government buffer zone, the systemic delusion of safety is a primary hazard. The population's insistence on normalcy keeps them complacent and vulnerable, making them easy targets for whatever crosses the border. This is the County of Aethel, a hyper-advanced city-state operated by the world's governments. It is a fortified black site. At the morning assembly, an official from Aethel takes the podium, replacing the principal's hollow platitudes with cold corporate brutalism. The official speaks to the students as inventory, referring to the abducted teenagers purely as displaced assets. He announces a mandatory proactive inoculation for students with specific genomic traits, offering no medical explanation for the procedure. A hysterical teacher interrupts the assembly, dragging one of the missing sophomores into the room. The student is a waxy, translucent gray shell. They are catatonic, smelling of stagnant water and harsh electrical ozone. This visual proof forces Amara to see the trap they are in. They are caught between an actively hunting biological nightmare and a government that views them strictly as stock. Amara and Rupert skip school to investigate a neighboring town that went dark days earlier. They find a bone-dry ghost town where the buildings show signs of violent, localized structural damage, and the heat feels suffocating. Inside the neighboring high school, they find these massive bioluminescent bone pods. Amara realizes the catatonic teenagers have been hollowed out for tzitzimital incubation. Their bodies are living incubation vessels used to gestate otherworldly entities. A classmate's smartphone flash triggers a reaction, the pod shatters, and a skeletal star demon pulls itself from the debris. As it lunges, Rupert reacts on instinct. He hurls his heavy steel water bottle at the creature's skull, stunning it just long enough for them to reach the car. The magic of the aisle is a biological parasite. It hijacks human anatomy to weaponize victims against their own communities. The town itself provides the fuel for the invasion. By late afternoon, the horde reaches Sector 4, bringing an unnatural eclipse that swallows the light. Streetlights shatter and car alarms cut out as a total electromagnetic blackout hits the town. During the slaughter, social archetypes prove fatal. The varsity jocks die running blindly into the dark to fight, while social media influencers freeze in the parking lot, incapacitated by the jammed cellular networks. Amara and Rupert scavenge a shotgun from a police cruiser. Under the cover of total darkness, they execute a tactical retreat through the burning streets toward the local hospital. They lock the emergency doors, only to realize their miscalculation. The school had routed all the catatonic survivors here for observation. The hospital has become the hatching epicenter for the entire local horde. Survival strategies based on standard logic, like seeking safety in a hospital, lead the citizens directly into the trap. The infrastructure is designed to herd people into the path of the anomaly. Fighting through the maintenance shafts, Amara and Rupert find an architectural impossibility. A pristine Aethel communications hub is hidden between the 11th and 12th floors, sealed behind a reinforced steel blast door. Exactly 24 hours after her day began, Amara hacks the interface. She bypasses the local jamming to broadcast a desperate SOS to the County of Aethel. A calm, bureaucratic voice responds, assuring them that coordinates are locked and help is on the way. Rupert finally drops his guard, leaning against the door in a moment of relief. Then the radar grid flashes red. A single blip descends at hypersonic speed toward their location. Aethel used the SOS signal to lock onto their coordinates for an Anomaly Correction Protocol, a localized, apocalyptic missile strike. Rupert looks at the screen and understands. He grips Samara's hand and gives her one last smirk. Then a silent, absolute white light consumes the room, vaporizing the hospital, the horde, and the survivors instantly. The government positions these perimeter towns as biological bait. By grouping the monsters into one predictable location, the bureaucracy can eradicate an entire outbreak with a single cost-effective strike.